crazed whispers. Dark gray scales spread across their bodies. Even the land was stripped of its vigor. Only a desperate, deathly silence remained. Were it not for greater Lord Rukkhadevata from the forests, the damage would have been irreversible. She summoned the priests to build temples and infused into them the divine power of life. The disaster was miraculously tempered, and the embers of our civilization were preserved in Aru village. Alas, the miracle could not last. As long as forbidden knowledge continued to exist, it would forever blight this world. In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal lord, chose to sacrifice himself. I have spent my whole life since guarding one of these many temples. But now, my duty is coming to an end. As I close my eyes for the final time, the sight of that noble deity will appear in my vision once more. In helping King Deshret to eradicate forbidden knowledge, she exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think of her, I no longer have any fear of death, for I sense that the spirit of life will abide with me during my eternal sleep. Children of the desert, cling no longer to past grievances, but hold tight to the memory of this act of benevolence.
What was that?
The priest's memories.
No. No!
Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. So the former Dendro Archon and King Deshret were never enemies at all.
But this doesn't make any sense. The Dendro Archon's followers...
Was that the former Dendro Archon?
You might be distrustful. You've just witnessed his priest.
I've never heard about any of this. The surviving followers of King Deshret all gathered in Aru village. Our god did not make mistakes. We refuse to believe King Deshret's death, the all but total annihilation of our civilization. It was all great. We saw her as nothing more than a traitor, who stabbed us in the back in our moment of crisis. Just like us humans. Fighting, feuding, double-crossing each other to survive in the desert.
You were blinded by your prejudice.
If I hadn't seen this for myself, if I hadn't witnessed his last words with my own eyes, ears, and heart, how could I ever begin to accept this? The truth...
Raman, that's enough. Give it a rest. You're starting to make a fool.
Dia, my Eremites and I, what are we even fighting for?
Hey, how you...
Well, I should probably go.
What's your next move gonna be?
Oh, I know what you're going to ask. I feel deeply ashamed of everything I've done. But please, give me some time.
It's not gonna be easy.
Well, I guess that's for me to deal with. Dia...
When would be a good time for us to go?
Tomorrow. I'll convince everyone that we're all on the same side. And I'll return every last one of your your village keepers. We'll share our other resources.
You seem to finally understand that our true enemy...
Yes. The gods never gave up on anyone. It's the people responsible for all this that need to face the consequences of their actions.
That must have been rough. But he seemed...
Ramon's no fool. Being the leader of your own faction in the desert is no easy feat. It's too bad he was held back by his belief in King Deshret.
The outcome, at least, is favorable.
We should get going too. Let's head back, have a proper meal, and a nice... long sleep. We'll need all our energy tomorrow. We're leaving!
Stop.
Rahman, we're here.
Everything's been arranged. Someone will bring the village keepers back to Aru village shortly.
I guess all I can say now is...
Don't mention it. I think we can both agree you went to hell and back for it. But we share a common cause now. From here on out, we're allies.
Where are the perpetrators?
I'll bring you to them. Follow me.
So these are the people who kidnapped the village keepers.
Oh no, it's the scribe!
There's no need to yell.
We've been all over the...
That's right.
General Mahamatra? No, no!
Whoa. The moment they set eyes on Sino, they...
You should have known that I would be coming for...
Wait, we were just following orders. You know what I'm talking about, right? There's no way we...
No, not Sino. He's gonna tear us...
I could.
Please have mercy.
Start talking. Otherwise, I'll have to resort to other methods.
So, your superiors have kept you quite busy recently.
They, wanted to extract canned knowledge.
Don't play dumb. You know what I'm really asking. They extract divine canned knowledge.
I really don't know how to explain it.
Well, you better start talking or you'll be sorry!
You don't want to make things any more difficult for yourself, do ya?
Be my guest.
Uh-huh. That sure didn't sound like a fancy metaphor or anything. You're serious, aren't you?
How did you know?
There's no use hiding it now. Yes, you're right. The Academia is working on an important and potentially world-changing project. They are creating a new god. It may seem as if Sumeru's... The withering of Irminsul has been getting worse recently. The sages have tried everything they could think of, but nothing's worked. I'm always hearing them say things like...
Continue.
And then, someone from the Fatui showed up. They called him the doctor was previously expelled from the Academia. At first, the sages looked down at him in disdain. But when he said those words, everyone's expressed... He asked them, "Do you wish to create a god?"
This is what the arrogant ignorance at the extreme end of academia...
First, the Academia spent a long time constructing a divine vessel, which was based on an exquisite humanoid puppet. After that, they harvested dreams via the Sebzerus Festival Samsara, maximizing the Akasha's output. With the doctor's help, and the Akasha now functioning at maximum efficiency, they were able to use it to extract the power from the Gnosis and convert it into a divine core. Next, they decided that their new god needed to possess divine wisdom. For that to happen, they needed a huge quantity of divine canned knowledge.
It adds up.
But how do you determine whether the knowledge extracted is of divine origin?
Call it an educated guess? The Academia has been trying to figure out the exact source of the Scholar's madness for centuries, but to no avail. Nobody can explain the cause of this phenomenon. Surely you can see what that implies. If it's knowledge no mortal can comprehend, then it must be something only gods are able to decipher. In other words, it's the source of the God of Wisdom's omniscience and omnipotence.
You must have noticed by now. The Academia doesn't care about who their god is. It's the ability to exercise control over knowledge and wisdom that matters. It is as if they are cursed with a desire for omniscience and omnipotence that burns in their blood. Some organisms demonstrate phototaxis, and thus orient their entire lives in respect to sources of light. For the sages, their only source of hope is the existence of a deity who embodies the acme of wisdom. This is but a form of phototaxis. For many scholars, the absence of a god of wisdom means stumbling in the darkness for the duration of their lives.
Then what does Lesser Lord Kusanali mean to you? Is she not a true god present in this world? If you already have a new god, why try to create another one?
From the beginning, the Academia has never treated her as a god. When the Academia first discovered Lesser Lord Kusanali, the newborn god of wisdom, the sages hoped that she would be as wise as Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. But upon evaluation, they found that at the time she possessed no more intelligence than any ordinary human child. The sages never had a ruder awakening. This forced them to accept that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata had indeed passed away. Not to mention that Lesser Lord Kusanali's gnosis has been used to power the Akasha this entire time. By herself, she has neither an Archon's raw power. Slowly but surely, people began to forget about her existence.
So, this is the path the sages have chosen.
All right, let's try to keep our cool. Raman, give me a few men to help us escort the village keepers back to the village.
Sure.
The village keepers you found have all been returned to their homes, and each one has a dedicated caregiver to look after them. The two...
The atmosphere is so heavy. Hey! Say something! Stop spacing out!
Come on, is there nothing left to talk about? In that case...
Or I can go fetch some snacks.
Oh, Paimons!
Do you have any plans, Traveler?
Gods above, you're not talking about work, are you?
So you were still withholding some information?
Even though we lived through all of this firsthand, it still feels super surreal to hear you talk about it again.
What a whirlwind of a story.
It seems like there'll be more issues to face in the days ahead than I'd anticipate.
Still, now's a good time to make our next move. Now that Ramon's joined us, we'll be an even stronger team.
It's time to make a plan.
Indeed.
So, everyone,
Crush the sages and rescue our god. That is our ultimate goal.
Well,
The next time we gather here, we must have a solid plan.
Yep, it'll work out for sure. Candace, we're here! Has everyone arrived?
everyone is already waiting inside.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's join them!
Please, wait a moment. Before attending the
What do you need?
promise me that you won't commit to anything.
What do you think?
Okay.
Oh, of course
Grandma?
not.
Hey,
It's all a
Mora,
bunch of
Deshret
numbers.
really gonna come back from the dead?
Damn, so long.
It's as worrying as it can get.
Pay and Mora, or trade
Oh, of
anything
course
you own.
not. It's all a bunch of nonsense.
Grandma, is King Deshret really gonna come back from the dead? It's as worrying as it can get. What's the big deal?
Everyone's here so early! But
We already discussed things a bit.
Hey, where have you been? I've missed you too.
Are you ready?
Very well.
are you sure this is gonna work?
I gotta admit, it's bold. Color me impressed.
The point of discussion is to arrive at a solution. Let's cut.
You're finally done.
I have some other stuff to take care of. Catch you all later. Come on, don't give me that face.
That's what I wanted to hear. Well, Traveler, Paimon, judging from your expressions,
You can tell.
I'm not that good at scheming or strategy. To be honest, your deeds speak.
Candace,
I'm very glad I've said the same. Only when you're safe can the plan be successful. You're welcome. And good luck.
The clouds are like picture frames in the sky.
Sounds good. I'll go make some preparations.
Okay.
I'll hit them!
Have you finished saying your goodbyes?
Yeah! Also, Candace told everyone to be careful.
Yes, she did. But I think my point also bears repeating. Our plan is not child's play. We won't be able to achieve anything. I hope this is clear to you.
Huh?
Didn't we already do that?
You can never have enough words of
In that case, Candace can cuddle you to your heart's content while I continue to remind you of this. We all have our jobs to do, after all. It's like how... Of course. Compared to the mercenaries, I'm mere... But the advantage of... Just think about that mercenary who lost his mind. Mercenary groups are facing constant danger every...
Well, being a scholar is also a high-risk occupation.
I'm not like the rest of them. Even among members of the same species, some will exhibit far more potential than others.
This guy.
All intellectuals... That reminds me. Do you remember the record we saw in the King Deshret ruins? It mentioned forbidden knowledge. You have a good memory. Forbidden knowledge has the power to drive people insane, but this fact has never been shared with the public. Even I, who has worked in the academia for some time, was never once informed of this. I think those mad scholars and mercenaries we encountered may have all fallen victim to the corrupting qualities of forbidden knowledge. But the academia has always held a different view. They have always believed that symptoms of madness are a side effect of human contact with divine knowledge as mere mortals. Come to think of it, perhaps the academia has also never understood the true nature of forbidden knowledge, and thus always approached the issue from the wrong direction. The Withering, Elazar, and the sandstorms. Don't you think what is happening right now across Sumeru is rather similar to the forbidden knowledge pollution that occurred in the desert thousands of years ago?
But Paimon thought that Irminsul's disease is what caused the withering in the sandstorms. At least, that's what Wait a second.
Ah, you've connected the dots. The cause of Irminsul's illness may precisely be the pollution from forbidden knowledge.
But if that's the case, what should we do?
Wait. Why do you think Lesser Lord Kusanali would have a solution to this situation?
You mean, it's related to the scene you saw when you passed out in the Avidia forest? That whole, the world forget me thing?
In that case, to make sure we're still on track, I would like to check on the state of some of our—
Where are we going?
to an Aramite base. Ah, they're here.
Huh?
I gave them some—
Ah, it's the scribe. And is that the traveler I see?
How's the work going?
Ah, yes! We have fixed the devices according to your instructions. One of them is already ready for use, while the others are still under repair.
Aren't those devices for can knowledge extraction?
Look here.
Huh? What?
What's that look on your face?
Paimon's a little scared.
Anyway, we're not going to use this just yet. As I mentioned during the meeting, this knowledge capsule contains a decree I drew up in the past. The academia should also have their own copy. And according to the plan we just came up— Traveler, I want you to record something. Do you believe we can save Lesser Lord Kusanali? Good. Conviction is the most— Now, please get ready.
You want us to record our conviction into the knowledge capsule?
Yes.
Paimon is still really worried.
I understand. But trust me, Paimon, this is something we have to do. It's best if you can do as I say. Because, to achieve this impossible task, it sounds like you'll need to fool your own heart first. Although it may...
Paimon can see the point you're trying to make.
Imagine this. We have orchestrated our plan and successfully rescued Lesser Lord Kusanali. Everything went without a hitch, and everyone recognizes and Now, open your eyes. Here.
What's this?
Read it out loud. It's done.
Is your head okay? Does anything hurt?
It's just a recording. There should be no...
But what was the point of doing...
And that's perfectly fine. In any case...
Huh?
Have you forgotten? Our plan needs to account for those who have long relied on the Akasha. You may find it hard to believe, but for those people, everything the Akasha transmits to them is nothing short of absolute truth. Imagine if you've been using a device like the Akasha since the day you were born. And this device has always supported you during times of need. After all that time, what do you think you'd become?
A fool? A machine?
A slave to orders. And that's why rules are so important. In addition, those who...
But...
You could say that those...
Things you're interested in are really out there.
Anyway, that's enough chit-chat. I'm going to take those two to work on some small projects. You can head to Caravan Rebot and start preparing for the next step.
Small projects?
We're going to tinker with the Akasha terminal and make a few... modifications.
I thought we agreed on a plan. How can you go back on your word?
The plan is too
But it's still the best plan.
I did. And that's how I saw the danger behind these so-called advantage.
Huh? Why are you guys arguing?
My friend, you're just in time.
We agreed to work out a plan at the meeting. As mercenaries, you're familiar with the local environment, so you'll take care of the specifics. Had I known all Hatham would give you those kinds of suggestions...
Look, you already know that we're all on the...
Mercenaries place a lot of importance on their bonds of friendship, but also will not hesitate.
Seems you really do understand the ways of the desert.
Traveler, Paimon, this is also something you should know. Rahman's plan is to have me work with the Caravan Rebot guards in my capacity as a Matra. We will arrest the mercenaries and escort them into...
He also said that with the help of Sino and the Traveler, our chance... I never blindly trust anyone, and I've always had...
If I make the arrests alone, I can control myself and prevent you from getting hurt. To make the whole thing more convincing, I'm okay with the deaths of enemy.
I can't believe a Matra would actually care about us. I've lived a hard life.
I've always treated my allies with honesty and respect. They have the right to know important things like that.
Now you're making this hard.
Hey, is there something we can do to help? We can help fight some of the mercenaries.
Sino, on behalf of my people, I thank you. We have no fear of casualties, because we...
Well, but remember, you need to follow the plan and not do... Since you and I both recognize the significance of this operation, there should be no more animosity between the followers of the Dendroarchon and those of King Deshret. Everyone's life is equally important.
Okay, you have a deal. Let's do this for our shared dream.
The guards should be stationed in the courtyard nearby. You can find them there.